The month of January was huge for Astro. On one hand, they announced the beta release of their next major version, and, on the other hand, the company behind the framework was acquired by Cloudflare. This is kind of a big deal, and we have to talk about it. For those unfamiliar with it, Astro is one of the best front-end projects launched in the past decade. Its main goal is to improve web app performance by shipping less JavaScript to the browser, while also keeping the developer experience smooth and familiar. Astro's main selling point is its island architecture, which lets you build apps using interactive components that are hydrated independently on demand. As a result, apps load faster and have better core web vital scores. Another great feature is its UI framework integrations. Now, to be honest, I feel like we are finally over the framework debates these days. We are now at a point where most options offer similar features and performance, with differences mostly in the way they handle developer experience. And, whether we like it or not, these lines between frameworks will get even more blurred because of all this AI-generated code. So moving forward, the really skilled developers will be able to seamlessly jump between frameworks. And Astro allows you to do just that because of their UI integration support. You simply have to install the integrations you need and then combine your preferred UI libraries. Astro was one of the first mainstream tools to prove you could put a React component, a Vue component, and a Svelte component on the same page without having your entire browser explode. Of course, Astro offers many other powerful features which make it a legit alternative to huge players like Vercel's NextJS. Thanks to its success and growing popularity, big companies started to take notice. So just a few days back, Cloudflare announced that they acquired the team behind Astro. And it might come as a shock, but I actually believe this to be amazing development news. Cloudflare is usually in the news for bringing half of the internet down. Just a few months back, we ran into one of the biggest cloud incidents in recent years, where a single bad Cloudflare configuration change propagated globally and took out a huge number of important SaaS platforms. This should give you an idea of the scale at which Cloudflare operates, since they managed to build a huge network infrastructure with edge functions, object storage, databases, and now a front-end framework that's practically designed to live on the edge. Astro fits perfectly into that vision because its Zero.js by default model complements Cloudflare's obsession with speed and efficiency. But what's more exciting for us developers is this little thing called competition. As we all know, the front-end world has drifted in recent years towards meta frameworks, and this is pretty much a monopoly built around Vercel. So having another tech giant backing a serious competitor is exactly what the ecosystem needed. And, unlike Vercel, which is deeply entangled with the React and the chaos of React server components, Cloudflare gets to start clean. Astro isn't married to one rendering strategy or tied to a specific mental model, which means Cloudflare has a shot at offering a truly developer-friendly, full-stack solution. It's also important to mention that they have other important contributions to open source. Hono.js, for instance, is a fast, lightweight web framework built specifically for the edge. It supports modern features like middleware chaining, typed roads, and streaming responses out of the box, and because it's designed for edge runtimes, it's built to cold start instantly and scale with minimal overhead. So Cloudflare has proven that they can successfully build tools for the web. But, granted, after a lot of shady acquisitions, some people might be concerned about another big tech company shaping the future of an open source project. While they have all the reasons to be worried, the sad reality is that this is the game most projects are playing. As we all know, there is no real money in open source. On top of that, Astro announced in January 2022 an initial $7 million seed round, which means the clock was already ticking. Venture capital doesn't fund open source out of kindness, so unless Astro had a surprise monetization plan up its sleeve, an acquisition was always the most likely outcome. And, let's be honest, it could have been worse. So all in all, this is a pretty good outcome for everybody, and, at least at a statement level, Cloudflare is fully committed to keeping Astro open source and sustainable long term. According to their official statement, Astro will remain open source to ensure its continued growth and relevance, not just under Cloudflare, but across the broader developer community. And this is why we also have to discuss the upcoming Astro 6 release. Even though it's still in beta, it's already shaping up to be one of the most significant updates the framework has ever released. The headline feature is a fully redesigned development server. Besides making things faster, the new dev server brings production and development much closer together by running your app in the same environment it will be deployed to. That means fewer bugs, fewer surprises, and a more consistent developer experience across platforms. And we also have to give a shout out to Vite for this milestone, since Astro is using Vite's environment API under the hood to manage different execution contexts. We should probably discuss Vite in a separate video, because it has literally become the backbone of all modern front-end tooling. For those of you deploying to Cloudflare workers, this update has a greater impact. Previously, the dev experience on workers involved mocks, polyfills, and simulated bindings. With Astro 6, you are now running directly on workerd, which is the same open-source runtime that powers workers in production. So when you're using R2 storage, KV namespaces, durable objects, or even the analytics engine, you are using them for real, even in development mode, before you ever hit deploy. Going back to the discussion of the acquisition for a second, Cloudflare has a huge interest in Astro gaining more market share because, as you can see, every new Astro project has the potential to increase the value of its own edge infrastructure. So while we can expect more features tailored for that specific platform, I believe they'll continue bringing value to all developers just to make sure Astro continues gaining popularity. Astro 6 also brings live collections to stable status. These let you fetch data from APIs or databases on demand without needing to rebuild your site. If you're building with frequently updated content, live collections handle that smoothly, with built-in error handling and familiar configuration. It's a powerful step for building dynamic sites while keeping the performance benefits of Astro's static-first architecture. Content security policy is another major feature fully supported now. If you didn't know already, Content Security Policy is a security standard that helps protect web applications from common attacks like cross-site scripting, data injection, and code execution by restricting which content sources the browser is allowed to load and execute. Astro generates strict CSP headers for your pages, including hashes for inline scripts and styles. This works with all render modes and across all major adapters. The configuration stays flexible and the type safety ensures your security settings remain predictable and clean. Of course, as expected with any major release, there are also breaking changes. Astro now requires at least Node 22, with the version 18 and 20 support being removed, legacy APIs like Astro Glab are gone, and the integration and adapter interfaces have been updated to align with new platform standards. Before wrapping things up, here is your trivia for the day, but this time around with no jingle, since you guys keep complaining in the comments. What made Astro popular was the islands architecture pattern, which basically describes islands of interactivity in a sea of static HTML. The term was first coined by a front-end architect at Etsy during a meeting with Jason Miller. She used the island metaphor to describe a strategy where most of the page is static, but small, isolated pockets are dynamic. Jason Miller, creator of P-React, turned that metaphor into a formal concept in his 2020 blog post, and then Astro took this architectural theory and made it a reality in 2021. So the bottom line is that Astro is in a pretty good place, and NextJS is finally getting some real competition. By the way, moving forward, I'll post weekly videos for our senior channel members, so if you want to hear my take on the show around Cursor's AI-generated browser, please consider joining the community. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like my recent 90-minute front-end course. Please smash all the buttons, and until next time, thank you for watching.